Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast with two guys in their 20s, giving their perspective on the games that we love and the story behind it all. I'm your host, Wellington Burns, along with my counterpart, Savon Morris. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How was the Senior Bowl?
The Senior Bowl was awesome. Got to meet a lot of people, a lot of talent, like Charles Davis,
Wow.
DJ from Info Network, those guys. And excuse me, met a couple players. Will Greer, finally met him. It was just a good experience in a good environment just to learn about football and just enjoy the game of football.
Yeah, that's good. Will Greer, you should have told him, hey man, like we've talked about you a couple of times on Full Scope. How we
I
had you
mentioned,
beating Oklahoma.
I mentioned I was a Florida Gators fan, and he looked at me. He was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, man. Look, I miss you. I
Yeah.
really do miss you." All he could do was laugh. But we didn't talk too long. He had to get back to the press conference. But in between, I kind of pulled him to the side, like, "Hey, look, I'm a Gators fan.
Yeah.
Well, I miss you. We miss you there, man. No bad blood for a real Gators fan." But nah, it was a good talk. He was a good guy.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good. Well, to start things off today, the Pacers they lost Victor Oladipo for the season. He had a season-ending, I believe, knee injury, and it was against the Raptors, which they were a game they were able to win. And they're third place in the East, and they're kind of an against the grain team because they're more defensive minded and they play at one of the slowest paces in the league. And now they lose their best player, but this is still a team that has a lot of depth. This past season, this past off season, I think getting Kyle O'Quinn and just different player. Also, I think also Tyreek Evans and players that were that could add to their depth. They definitely they weren't trying to go after big name players, but just more low key blue chippers that can add a different element to their bench. But obviously this is a devastating injury. But what were your thoughts on the injury and also how it affects their playoff chances?
It affects their playoff chances significantly. Man, you're missing one of the most improved players, and I guess I'll address the elephant in the room of the Pacers having this curse of most improved players getting injured throughout their career.
Yeah.
One was Paul George, we all know that. Then the other guy was Danny Granger, who was pretty good at the three position, and he had a phenomenal season in 2009. They went on a tear of multiple things in 2010, and now Victor Oladipo. But the curse is what it is. It's hard. Injuries are a part of the game. But without Victor Oladipo, they look sluggish. They look out of place. The mental is not there. They're out their leader, they're out their best player, guy who picks everybody up mentally and physically. They're without that. They have to find their aura without him, and that's no small feat. Excuse me. But they had an opportunity to win without him. But they, let it come out. They had Grizzlies, who's one of the 10-game losing streak, if I'm not mistaken. You lose to them by 3 points. They trailed the entire game. They started out super slow, went 4-0 in the first 4 minutes, and then it kind of picked up, went an 11-2 run, 11-1 runs, a lot of runs against them. Without Victor Oladipo, their chances of going to the playoffs are slim. And they will not make a trade or anything. They're not able to because the people that they want, they have to give up their depth, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah, and I believe when he's like off the floor, they get outscored 8.2 points, I think, per 100 possessions. And the thing that has taken a meteoric rise is Sabonis and Miles Turner. Like they've been able to step up, and McDermott and Aaron Holiday have also been effective as well. But with Oladipo out, like what player in particular? Because like Sabonis, he's been like a 17 and 10 type player, and Miles Turner, he's shown significant strides. Is there one specific player, or do you feel as though all the depth they've like acquired over the offseason kind of has to like mesh together to try to right the ship?
Yes and no. Excuse me. I think the two guys that need to step up the most is one of those guys is standing in for Victor Oladipo throughout the season. His name is Tyreek Evans. We know him from the Sacramento Kings when he got drafted. He's not Victor. We know that, but he can play big minutes for them. But it's still a big shoes to fill because he did this before. I think when Oladipo missed like 11 games early in the season.
Yeah.
He's not fulfilling what Oladipo does, but he has to do a better job coming in and keeping everybody up tempo. They don't have that without Victor. They need a guy who's going to step in, not take his place, but emulate him to the best of his abilities. Because without Victor, their whole aura, their entire game plan has shifted. They still had an opportunity to win. They still have an opportunity to win games, but going to the playoffs is going to be something else. And the next guy is Thaddeus Young. I think Thaddeus has to step up, hit 3-point shots consistently, and Tyreek Evans has to step into place of being the leader on the court and off the court. He has to be the guy. This is the role that you wanted. You want him to be the spotlight. Injuries do that all the time. Put people in the spotlight that, he has to step up. I think those are two guys mostly has to step up. Particularly Tyreek Evans.
Yeah, definitely. It's we see this almost every season. Injuries are the one factor you can't predict. And Oladipo was going to be an all-star again, and was having another phenomenal season, but it gets cut short with the injury. Transitioning to the Grizzlies, they're 19-29 and have struggled significantly in their last 14 games, and there was reports a couple of days ago that the Grizzlies are now open to hearing trade talks for Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. And with Mike Conley, he had the heel injury last year. He's been up and down so far this season, and he's going to turn 32 this fall, and I think he's making north of 30 million annually through 2020 and 2021. And he's got a player option for that year. So they're kind of at a crossroads with both players. But in terms of teams that need a guard and maybe a veteran like Mike Conley, or even if you have thoughts on Marc Gasol, what team in particular, or what teams could you see making a trade for either of those players?
No one. To be honest,
wow.
Just given the fact of Conley is a good player, but he's 31, coming off a heel injury last season. He's gotten better. He's progressed 20 points, 6 assists. But at the age of 31 and having the history of injuries and surgeries, I don't think in the money situation, he's up 25. Well, he's 67 million over 2 years after this season. I don't think anybody wants to touch that, given the age and the injuries, the past injuries. He's a good guard, but he's not. They want to rebuild. The Grizzlies definitely want to rebuild, but having both of those players, Marc Gasol and Mike Conley, to try to get rid of, is going to have to take a lot of backlash and take some bad money. But I don't think any team would kind of even touch those guys. The one team I thought was going to touch them was the Pacers, but now that Victor Oladipo is out, I don't think they'll want to give up their depth to get one of those type of players. And I don't think anybody wants to give up anybody for a first-round pick, especially a player that's 34 and 31 that has playing injuries, as well as not even the best big man in the league anymore. And Marc Gasol, he used to be the best big man defender, two-way player, but that's long gone. But I don't think any team will take any risk on either of those guys, especially Mike Conley, because he's been out this season as well. He's been playing with injuries, so I don't see anybody going for him.
Yeah, and I mean this Grizzlies team. I mean, they're already 8 games out of the playoff spot. Jaren Jackson Jr. I think can be one of the brightest spots of this draft, because he has a ton of potential as a 3-and-D guy. Do you see this? I mean, this was a team that had 3 50-win seasons over the last 9 years. They were the type of team, like at one point they were leading the Warriors their first run in the 2015 postseason, and they were just that team that just you didn't really want to face, because they were going to muck the game up, they were going to make things physical and just very difficult. But do you think this is at a point where the Grizzlies are saying, like, okay, let's just build around Jaren Jackson Jr., let's clear house and just start from scratch, move Conley and Gasol sometime this offseason?
Yes, I excuse me. I think that's exactly what they want to do. Either not with Jackson, but they want to go into the draft and rebuild to the team that they used to have back in the day with OJ Mayo, Conley, all those guys were there. Even Zach Rudolph, which was a big four. Man, that guy was phenomenal back in the day. But excuse me, they want to rebuild. They want to start young. Start young. They know where the game is shifting to. They don't have the players to keep up with the transition or what basketball is transitioning to. So that's why they want to start young. That's why they want draft picks. That's why they want to get their best players out of there. Even though they're old, well, they're old in basketball terms,
Mm-hmm.
but they want to get those guys out there so they can make room and opportunities for the future. They want to go into the process just like the 76ers did. But it's no small feat for those guys to do that, just moving both of those players. Now, I think Conley can be moved if it's a big if after the season to try to assess where his contract is and what they really can do with him after the season. But before the trade deadline ends, I don't think either of those guys will be moved. But they definitely want to start young and fresh because that's what the game is going into, young, fresh guys that can do both right off the bat. But they don't have the players right now to do so. So that's why they want to clean house.
Yeah. Transitioning to Carmelo, this past week, the Rockets moved him to traded him to Chicago, and the Bulls are now expected to waive Melo, and which would make him a free agent if he decides to clear waivers. And this is, I mean, obviously with Melo, like the Houston experiment didn't work out, and he wasn't the only reason for that, but he just was not able to mesh with that. And the Lakers have expressed interest with him, and now it comes to a point of just wondering, can he just be effective anymore on a team with aspirations to be a contender and make a run, or do the Lakers even need somebody like that right now in terms of what they're already dealing with? But what are your thoughts on just the fact that Carmelo is in this winding road of this may be the last run he can make with the team, because the big three in OKC was not a success, and now it's just seeing because I obviously I don't think he'd want to play with the Bulls, but how do you like what do you still feel as though he can contribute to a contender?
I think he can, and I think his one team in particular, like you just mentioned, team you just mentioned was the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he can help them be a big contender because they're missing that 3-point giant that puts fear in a lot of these basketball teams. Only 3 or 4, I think it's 4 guys on the Lakers team that are impactful players. That's LeBron James, Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo, and Josh Hart, who's above 300 at the 3-point line. That's what they're missing. Josh Hart is a decent player, but he can shoot a little bit, but he's not a big impactful player. I think with Melo on the court, I think it kind of helps them immediately because he still can shoot the basketball. We saw that with the Knicks. We saw that with OKC when they allowed him to, and we saw that a bit for the Houston Rockets. I think that's what they're missing. I think if anybody can get the most out of Melo, it will be LeBron James and Magic Johnson. And I think it will be a business move outside of basketball and within the countries of basketball. I think he can make them better immediately because that's what they're missing. They're missing a 3-point giant that can make people scared of them. That's what they're missing. I think Melo can do it. Probably 1 or 2 years, not for a long period of time.
That's what I was thinking, like a shorter contract.
Yeah, probably this year and assess after if he really, because they're still looking for that second guy to go with LeBron James. They wanted Ingram to step up to be that second guy so they can bring a third guy in, but Ingram is still kind of slow playing it, getting to that point where he can be the second guy.
Yeah, and that's kind of thing, because I really feel as though the one player who can maximize the most out of Carmelo is LeBron. And LeBron, he kind of took an offense to how things were portrayed in Houston, because he felt like, Melo was the one who was really being portrayed as the reason that things were going awry in Houston early. And obviously he wasn't the only reason, but it was not going to work there. And I think Daryl Morey, obviously he adjusted. He got Kenneth Faried, he got Austin Rivers, other players who can kind of fill in the gap. I mean, Daniel House Jr. You got other guys who can fill in the gap, and that's what Daryl Morey's always known for doing. But it really does seem, and I'll ask you this: do you think this is kind of the safest place in terms of the fact that LeBron's there and he's going to try his best to maximize whatever is left in Melo?
Yes, I think that's the best way. I mean, the best deal for both parties, because now you bring Melo in with the mindset of like, okay, this is your last chance to show people that you can still play basketball, and that you're not a bench player coming off the court. I mean, coming off being a 6-man, 7-man, whatever. I think LeBron James can play with Melo. They come out the same draft. They had the same kind of hype. Melo kind of took the back burner LeBron James because LeBron was such a high talent all around, playing defense, offense, being a facilitator. Melo was just a scorer. And I think that's what they're missing. Let Melo be a scorer. Again, I sound like I'm from New Jersey. A scorer. A scorer. What is going on? I thought I should point that out so we get our first laugh out the way.
Yeah. He's a scorer.
He's a scorer. He's a scorer. What are you talking about? Come on. He's a scorer. He's a
Want
scorer.
some deep dish pizza in Chicago.
Forget about it. I don't know when it comes out of nowhere, Wellington, and I don't know how to stop it. And I'm going to continue to say scorer because that's okay. I'm moving on. But yeah, he can be the guy that you're missing. I just think that's the best opportunity for him. Definitely him. He's been at home for quite some time now.
Oh yeah.
Doing Instagram videos and show people that he still can play basketball, but it's different when you get on the court. But I think he can gel well with LeBron and gel well with others. I think he can play with Rondo. I think he can play with Lance.
Yeah.
I think that's the best opportunity for him.
Yeah, I would definitely feel as though that would be the best destination for him this season. Transitioning to the All-Star picks, you said that as though you were dismissive of everything that I.
No. It was just like, okay, yeah, All-Stars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but
yeah.
But the two captains are LeBron and Giannis, and the players. Steph, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving, and Kemba Walker. And obviously Kemba gets his first All-Star starting vote. Selection now, and that was a great moment for him. He's had a really good season. What were your thoughts on all of the picks, and was there one person left out that you felt as though should have been in, or just what were your just initial thoughts on it?
I think they got it right.
Yeah.
All these players have had great seasons prior and great seasons now, especially James Harden. I mean, that's a no-brainer. He's been going off. And I think Paul George is another guy that deserved to be in the starting lineup because he's carrying OKC on the deep backcourt and the front court. But the one player I think was kind of like, I don't know, was Joel Embiid.
Really?
Yeah, but just because the way that he's learning how to gel with other players, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler.
He's had an MVP caliber season.
I know everybody's had an MVP caliber season to you, Wellington. Carmelo Anthony's having an MVP caliber season.
Wait, what?
I'm joking.
Wow.
No, I think he's playing good basketball. I just thought it would be somebody else. Don't ask me who, but I'm not there yet. But I just thought I thought Joel Embiid was okay. He's playing good, but an all-star starter, maybe no. I wanted to see somebody else in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I don't know.
So to you, it was kind of how he's meshed with this new big three.
Yeah, but it's different. I get it's all-stars, get the popular people, bring in the, it's business. But if I wanted to bring somebody from a team, I should have had this. I wasn't prepared to say Joel Embiid. Just as soon as I saw his name, I was like, you know what? That name doesn't fit. That name does not fit in this. But no, I like Giannis as the captain. Now he's okay.
Who do you see? Who do you see if you just had to take an early pick? Because is the selection or is the draft going to be televised this time?
I'm not sure.
Because I heard that they're actually going to televise LeBron and Giannis picking the players, which should be interesting.
So what I'm not understanding, so somebody picked the starting five for them already, right?
Well, this is the pool of players they can pick from. The starting five.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just saying these are going to be the starters that were selected from the West. These are the starters that were selected from the East.
So
it's not already. Well, from each conference, but they can pick any player they want out of the players.
Okay, so they don't have to be stuck with the East or the West. Okay, like last year. Okay,
right.
So they still haven't picked yet. So who's going to be the first player picked? If LeBron James picks, I think it's going to be Paul George.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's one player. I don't know.
I think he always wanted to play with Paul George.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I did. I think he thought that he was going to leave.
Yeah.
Because
to me, it felt like one of those. First. Yeah, to me, it felt like he really felt as though when he was coming to LA, it was like, okay, George is definitely coming.
Yeah, and I don't think he knew the severity of like the relationship. I don't think anybody knew the severity of the relationship with Westbrook and Paul George, because I thought they wouldn't have meshed well together because they're two different players, but I guess they kind of, mellow each other out and they know how to coexist because Paul is like he's a unselfish, he's selfless type of player. But I didn't know like they gel that well. I thought once he saw LeBron James go to Lakers, he's like, all right, y'all, I'm going to LA. Like that's what I thought was going to happen. I think LeBron thought of the same thing too. But no, I think LeBron picks Paul George if he goes first. If Giannis goes first, I think he picks Joel Embiid.
Yeah. So you think Giannis is just going to try to go big?
No. First pick big, yeah.
First pick big.
Okay. After that, I don't think anybody would pick like Steph or KD just yet.
I feel as though if KD doesn't get picked first, like let's say LeBron has the overall number one pick, I feel like Giannis would just be like, okay, I can't let KD go over there. But it's just to me, like I could see Embiid being the first one Giannis selects though.
Either Giannis or Kyrie.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think LeBron wants Giannis is the one picking?
Yeah, I know. You said you agreed.
Do you think LeBron would want Kyrie?
Of course.
Yeah, I would think so.
Now that phone call has, I think it wasn't even bad.
That changes so much. That changes the dynamic. The dynamic.
Well, it changed the diameters of outside, like to the media and to the fans, the people that don't know. Because I don't think they never had a bad relationship. I think LeBron understood that. Okay, Kyrie wants to be the man somewhere else. That's fine. I don't have any. He said, I wish him the best. There's no bad blood. It's not with KD and Russell. They had that bad tension with each other. I don't think it was like that, but I think he gave a new insight and a new perspective of really why he wanted to do it. Like cut, paste dry, like black and white, why he wanted to leave. And now that he understands what LeBron James was doing or had to deal with, So I think now we know like an inside because I'm pretty sure they have multiple conversations about that. It's just now he's just putting it into the air so everybody can know.
Yeah. For the now, do you feel as though Wade should be voted in?
Dwayne?
Yeah, as reserved for a final the final farewell tour.
Come on.
Yeah,
they're gonna find a way to get him in there.
Yeah,
has to. He's literally a Hall of Famer. He's literally a walking Hall of Famer. I think he just got put in a Hall of Fame at Marquette. He got awards and stuff at Marquette. Well, come on. They did it. They did it with Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? And they should retire his jersey.
Back when they had it in Toronto.
Yeah. And Wade's jersey definitely going to be retired at Miami. No brainer. But yeah, I think they're going to find a way to get him in there, even if he's like, I don't know, a manager or assistant head coach. I don't know. They're going to find a way to get D Wade in there.
Yeah. For the I think the 3-point contest, you have Seth Seth and Steph, Dirk, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard. Who's and for the skills challenge, we've got Luka Doncic, Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox. Luka's going to win, of course. But out of that 3-point contest, what are your thoughts on that? Because
I'll give it to the underdog, man. I give it to Steph.
Yeah,
give it to Steph. Because it's so hard to, like, even when you think he's a pure shooter, it's hard to shoot like that consistently, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're not warmed up. Oh, man. That's why I say Steph is going to win it. Let Big Brother. No, he's little brother. He's Big Brother? Big Brother?
Seth is little brother.
Little brother. Okay, Steph is little brother. Yeah, let little brother win. He has it in the bag.
Back in the hometown.
Back in hometown.
Charlotte. Wow.
Oh man, it's gonna have a lot of family there. Should have a lot of family there.
They should come.
Yeah, they should come. I mean, that's the perfect opportunity to come. So
yeah. Transitioning to the NFL, last Sunday, the Rams beat the Saints 26-23 in overtime. Zerline hit, I mean, 2 of the clutchest field goals and just an extremely just booming home game at New Orleans in the Superdome, and that's one of the, we've said it so many times, it's one of the toughest places to play. When Mr. Johnny was on, he was telling me, like, that's not a place you want to play. I'm a competitor, but that place is just it's just a different feel, and the Rams were able to win there. And obviously the no pass interference call is the call heard around the world. Vinovich was right there, doesn't make it, does throw the flag, and even the league office, said that they got it wrong. But in terms of the game, the Saints have a 13-0 lead. The fake punt with the Rams was a huge play. Gurley wasn't as effective, and Goff, I mean, he made some big time downfield throws. He at times has been able to do this, and he was able to do it against the Saints. But what were your thoughts on the win overall and kind of the controversy?
Well, I can agree with Mr. Johnny that stadium, man, it gets loud.
Yeah.
You thought Seattle Seahawks stadium was loud? They call them the 12th man. No, those New Orleanites or whatever you want to call them, those New Orleans fans are loud, and it's just closed compartment of just noise. It really gets loud as a place that you want to play out. But getting to the game, I think the no call and the pass interference call was big. It shifted the game, but we all say in the sports realm, don't put the game in the referee's hands. That's one of the number one rules of football, sports, whatever. Don't put it in the ref's hands because they're human. They're going to make mistakes. But you still have an opportunity to win the football game. Your offensive lineman at the right guard, I can't remember his name, gets beat by Dante Fowler, who's from where? Florida Gators.
Yeah.
Put that up there.
Got to plug in.
Got to plug in. Puts hands in Drew Brees' face, makes a great play and interception. You have the opportunity to still win after that call. You didn't say anything about the offensive lineman. I think it was a great game, but Saints missed out on so many opportunities, and that was one of them.
And Michael Thomas, I think, only had one catch in the second half.
Yeah. And then you could, I would say another call on the interception play, but that's bang. I won't give you that, but you still have opportunities to win. I think they just seized the opportunities. And yeah, they did put the clamps on Michael Thomas. I thought the Saints gave a great pressure on Jared Goff. They just didn't get to him in time. And my guy, Cam, that is so great, man. He's 94. Now he's getting recognition. Yeah. Now he's getting the recognition that he needs and that what he deserves. Everybody's looking at him now. The man's been doing it consistently for years. But he get a lot of pressure.
You've said it multiple times. Yeah. He does not get his justice.
He does not get his justice, And then he had of those other guys on the other side, Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, but he stood out too. But he got a lot of pressure on it. They just didn't seize the opportunities. And that one call was big, but it wasn't big enough to shift the game that you had an opportunity to win. So.
Yeah, and even though that call was obviously, you know, an horrendous call and that kept them from advancing on, my thing was, look, they had a 13-point lead at home, and their only their only really big passing threat that was effective was Alvin Kamara. He was the only one that was really getting anything going for them, because the run game was kind of ineffective at times. I mean, a lot of the time, and the Rams were able to pull it out. What do you think a win like this says about the Rams? Like, because we even said we wouldn't be shocked if the Rams won. We just didn't think the likelihood was there, you know, on the road.
Well, it says a lot about Sean McVay.
Yeah, that was exactly the same thing I was thinking.
Yeah, his leadership, his play calling abilities, and just the overall belief of we can win. We can win the Super Bowl. Last year, they had an opportunity to win. This offseason, they didn't waste any time by getting big name players, Brandon Cooks, Adama Suh, Talib, and what's his name? Sheesh. Marcus Peters. Not Marcus Peters. Yeah, Marcus
Dante Fowler. No, not Dante.
Dante Fowler was like during the season.
Okay, yeah.
But offseason, they made all those big moves. They knew the type of investment they needed to do to be successful. They did everything possible as an organization, as a team. You pay Aaron Donald, get him to stay, make him happy. And what does he do as an MVP type season?
20 sacks.
20 sacks, missed out on one to beat Michael Strahan's record. It came close, but they made all the right decisions to be in that point. And then they capitalized on a lot of things. So it just hats off to Sean McVay, hats off to the general managers, hats off to everybody who contribute to that, because now
this was an all-in. This was an all-in season. They went all in on the offseason, and it paid off.
Amount of players they had to pay.
Yeah.
Sheesh. And he had to pay time. Gurley, oh my God, you had to pay. Well, you had to pay Jared Goff. He was first round draft pick, so you had to pay him. He's good, but you had to pay Brandon Cooks. You probably have to pay Cup after this season. His contract's probably coming up. So they're all in. All in. That's what I like to see. Youngest head coach in NFL history is going to his first Super Bowl. Young quarterback going against old. Remember we talked about this?
Mm-hmm.
The Final Four, had everything.
And we were saying the storyline, if the Rams and the Patriots met up with Sean McVay and Belichick and Goff and Brady.
Mm-hmm. And then I heard from a couple of the guys, like, this is the best. For the past 5 years, this has been the best Super Bowl playoff thing in years, because the last couple Super Bowls, like the Super Bowl against the against the Seahawks and the Broncos, was a blowout, and then the years before that was a couple blowouts. So this, in the season of great Super Bowls, we have to enjoy it and cherish it, because we've been given some great Super Bowls. Patriots coming back from the Falcons last year with the it's a lot of Patriots. I'm tired of saying the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Seems like a recurring theme here. Every February, they're here.
And then the call on the 1 yard line to pass it instead of running it. It's been some great Super Bowls. And guess who played in that game?
New England.
So it's crazy how consistent they are. But man,
we might as well talk about them. We might as well talk about them now.
Might as well.
They were able to beat the Chiefs in overtime, 37-31. And in the first half, they have a 14-0 lead. They're able to shut down Mahomes, which we have not seen all year. And then in the second half, it's back and forth. And there were a lot of just the Edelman call, the Chris Jones roughing the passer penalty, the D Ford offsides, which that was game. If D Ford isn't offsides, it's over. And so there were a ton of just key calls there. But this is what Brady does. He does it again. I feel silly about any questioning the Patriots topic we ever had in the season, because this is like, why? Why even have it? They're going to be there in February. Like just don't even second guess it. And how they're able to just demolish the Chargers and then beat Kansas City at on the road. third straight Super Bowl appearance, ninth for Brady. What were your thoughts on the win and them advancing to yet another Super Bowl?
What a game.
Yeah.
What a game. Tom Brady was zeroed in. He was all in. You couldn't shake him. Made some incredible throws, especially the top throw against Gronkowski versus Eric Berry. What a throw. What a throw. And to go down there to convert, 5 consecutive third downs in overtime?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But
almost every third down, it was Edelman in the overtime. Like almost every one.
Because they were running cover two tighties over top, leaving the middle of the field with him against a middle linebacker or a nickel back that couldn't cover him. And I didn't understand what type of defense they were running against Tom Brady. I didn't understand it. They don't have any deep ball threat, so you can be in cover two. So why are you in cover two man over top? And I think a couple of announcers kept saying that, reiterating, why are they in two-man top over top?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is Tom Brady Wellington.
Yes.
That man is the greatest quarterback that ever played football.
Yeah. It's signed, sealed, and delivered.
If the fourth Super Bowl didn't do it, or the fifth Super Bowl didn't do it,
I don't know
Super
what can
Bowl
convince
appearance, he's the best. Hands down, he's number one. Not top 5, not top 3. Number one. Just give it to him already. Jeez, the guy's amazing.
Yeah. And with the Chiefs loss, I mean, obviously this was a team. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was, even with 39 seconds left, you're like, I still felt as though there was time for them to send it in overtime. I don't know why I felt that way, but I'm like, I've seen this guy do it all season, and I really feel like it can happen. And, then the coin toss, like, that's just, like that's just the result of, I don't really like the overtime rule because I would like to see both offenses have it, but hey, this is the state of where things are, and not scoring a point in the first half and at home in the AFC Championship game goes into deciding a lot of things. But with the Chiefs loss and just all their promise with Mahomes and also the Saints loss, going forward, what team do you feel as though has a more promising future?
It's definitely the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Just given what Patrick Mahomes is going to be and what he can do, and if they can get their secondary to be better, just not even great, just better, and they can get their pass rush going again because they could not get to Tom Brady, but their offense has so much promise. Even losing Kareem Hunt during the season, you still have Tyreek Hill is going to be a phenomenal deep ball threat continuously throughout his career if he's going to stay. I don't think he's been injured yet. Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins has been revived from this offense, and Andy Reid. They have a tremendous upside coming in next year, and they all can get better on offense. What they defense need to do is work on the secondary, get guys in here. Senior Bowl had some great DBs, especially I forgot where he was from. I forgot his name, but now they got a couple of DBs coming out that can really help play nickelback and play a little safety, but they need that help. Losing Marcus Peters was a big thing for them. And then actually, I mean, Orlando Scandler was a good ad, but they still had, some follies, man.
Mm-hmm.
It really looked bad for them, but their offense has tremendous. If they could just do that, then they'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, I definitely think so. But before we transition into our last topic, we're not going to be able to get into a full Super Bowl preview, but what are your kind of early thoughts on this matchup? Because the Rams offense, number 2 scoring offense, the Patriots, they've been a top 5 offense this postseason statistically, and now you've got the experience versus the youth, but also the question of whether Gurley can start playing in Gurley and peak Gurley form. But what are your early thoughts on this matchup?
Tom Brady, here comes Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
I think their front seven, Dante Fowler is coming along. Aaron Donald's going to do what he do. He's going to get double teamed, and it's going to allow opportunities for Dante Fowler, Dominican Sue, Brockers, all those guys to get to Brady. I think they can get to Brady. They got to Drew Brees. They got to him well. They really rattled him a lot. And then that will help the secondary not to be able – because if you have a good front 4, good front 7, a good pass rush, that gives the secondary opportunities to make plays against the secondary, a breather, so they don't have to cover as long. And then those lead to sacks, especially the secondary to help out the front front seven to cover well. But here comes Aaron Donald. They will get to Brady. Their run game will be it won't be a run game against the Rams. It won't be. That was the biggest thing for the Chiefs or against the Chiefs. They were able to run with Sony Michel, and that opened up a lot. They weren't one dimensional. I keep reiterating this. Make the Patriots one dimensional. The Rams can do that with their front seven. Make Brady throw, get pressure on Brady, make Brady get out the pocket and try to run, kill him.
The Rams defense is what you're really buying in this game.
Oh, most def, because they've shown that multiple times. Secondary still has some tremendous flaws. We've seen that in week after week in the regular season and in the
Brady can exploit them there. He can exploit them there in the secondary.
He can, but if he gets pressure on him, which will be pressure, if they get to him or get in his face and rattle him, they have a chance. But if you let Brady stand back there at above 6'5", seeing the field, he's going to rip you apart. He's going to tear you apart. And that's what Brady does. But if you get pressure on him, and we've shown that last year with the Eagles got pressure with Fletcher Cox and all those guys. Yeah. And now Nigel Bradham. Yeah.
This is kind of part two of that. This is almost part two of that.
Pretty much, because their front seven is real. They're real. They're real. Yeah. And their offense is going to step it up. Todd Gurley was, he's coming off the injury again. He's banged up. Derek, Anderson is not a number one guy for that offense. But they have players like Gerald Everett from South Alabama. He's playing well.
Sounds like you're buying the Rams.
I am because of their defense. Defense wins championships.
Yeah.
The Chiefs could not get to Tom Brady. Tom Brady had too much time. But yeah, I think the pressure will be the deciding factor in this Super Bowl that's coming up.
Preview on CBS. Tony Romo on CBS. Transitioning to our last topic for today, the Steelers are publicly now looking for a trade in terms of with Antonio Brown, and he skipped the last game against Cincinnati. This has really been a tumultuous year for Pittsburgh in terms of the off the field disagreements with their star players and Le'Veon Bell and AB now. Quickly, what are your thoughts on what the Steelers are doing now? And just kind of, it seems like the likelihood of him, probably departing.
I see Mike Tomlin on the field at the Senior Bowl. He looked unbothered.
Wow.
They looked unbothered when Le'Veon Bell said he wasn't returning. They got a good running back. I forgot his name. Sheesh. I'm drained.
Oh, James Conner.
James Conner. Thank you, James Conner. James Conner. They was like, okay, we got James Conner. Now Antonio Brown is on the fritz again. Okay, we have Juju. We'll get other guys in this trade. I think they're fine without them because this hasn't been the first time a team had to deal with a prima donna wide receiver, a prima donna player. This is not their first rodeo, so they know how to get the best out of the situation. The Steelers are no different because they've won Super Bowls. They've been in the top spot multiple times. They know what it takes to win. AB, you want to leave? Goodbye. We'll find somebody for your replacement. It's going to be not 10 times better, but make the team 10 times better. So it's all about gaining team players to go all in and to buy into the system because they can find a guy who's hungry enough. Believe it or not, Antonio Brown from Central Michigan was hungry before he got the big contract.
Yeah.
And Ryan Clark kind of put that in the air.
Before he was the guy who led the NFL with 15 touchdown catches.
Exactly. And Ryan Clark put that on the air. I'm glad he did to see what type of guy he was. I forgot what guy he said that. He said, if you give that guy some money, you give him a big contract, it's going to be, you never hear the end of it. And look, we're at it now. But it's a lot of landing spots that people will grab Antonio Brown. They need him. And I think two teams will be the San Francisco 49ers and my
Jimmy G.
Yeah. I don't think Jimmy G is a good enough quarterback to for Antonio Brown. I think the Packers. Come on, brother. We never had a prima donna player or wide receiver before. See, it's coming out of your wide receiver, like it's coming out again. I was around a lot of people from the north and from like the Midwest and stuff, and from California, so their kind of accents and stuff kind of like coming on me.
Listeners, Savon is doing a very strategic move as a Packers fan. He's dropping this subtle hint. Hey, like AB, like we need another high-profiled receiver, and Aaron Rodgers can use it. You know, we got a new coach. We got the McVay 2.0. Like, let's make it happen.
Talk to him, because we don't have a guy who can take the top off. We don't have a guy who can get open. The only guy is Devontae Adams. Randall Cobb has been playing with injuries.
Yeah,
we're trying to get Geronimo Allison to be that guy who take the top off, but he got injured. So we need that other 1 or 2 wide receiver to make our offense 10 times better. The running game is getting back. We just need that type of player like Antonio Brown to make it happen. That's what we need. I think Antonio Brown will fit good in Nebraska. No, not Nebraska. Sorry, Wisconsin. What? Wisconsin. Oh God,
man,
I love this podcast.
It's the blunders are on a live show. This is what you have to appreciate. This is what you have to appreciate.
Oh God, just to know we're human. That's all you need to know, guys. We're human and we get things wrong, and I forget people. Look, I just want to have a good time talking about sports, and that's what we do on Full Scope.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up for today. I'm your host, Wellington Burns, along with my counterpart, Savon Morris. This has been Full Scope. See you later.